people having to stay married if they have children? I mean, we are
Yes,
two
it's better
divorced
if
men
they
here.
do. It's better if they do.
It's better
for the
I think
children.
most people would agree that that's the best. But as far as I understand, do you think that the laws should say that we have to stay together?
Oh, it isn't obvious to me that the liberalization of the divorce laws in the 60s was for everyone's best interest. Now, exactly what that means, I'm not sure. But we do know that stable, intact, two-parent families are better for children. So, it depends on who you put first.
But isn't that an individual choice and not something the law should decide?
Well, it depends to some degree on whether the law should advocate for children. I mean, children really can't speak for themselves, can they? They need some authority to speak for them. And so we do know, like data, for example, on child welfare indicates crystal clear that children from intact two-parent families do better on virtually every measure that you can possibly imagine.
Today we're going to briefly analyze Dr. Jordan Peterson's advice to stay married for the sake of your children, in spite of your own discomfort or personal feelings. Stick around as we discuss this topic. Hey everybody, this is the Marriage Ranger. So glad to have you here today. I want to remind you to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, because it really helps the channel when you do so. In the realm of marriage and family dynamics, Canadian clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson offers a perspective that challenges prevailing attitudes about divorce. Central to Peterson's viewpoint is the idea of prioritizing the well-being of children over individual happiness and confronting the underlying selfishness that often leads to divorce. Peterson advocates for couples to stay together for the sake of their kids, questioning whose happiness and psychological well-being should take precedence, your own or your child's. His stance reflects a commitment to the long-term well-being of the child, recognizing that separation and divorce can have a very profound and lasting impact on kids. By prioritizing the stability and cohesion of the family, even when the couple is in less than ideal circumstances, kids can thrive and become the person they were designed to become. The alternative is too horrific. Usually, kids suffer from many kinds of emotional and psychological traumas after seeing their parents break up, or by growing up without a father in the home at all. Unless there's some kind of abject abuse or neglect taking place, I share this view as well. God designed the family to stay together. Just by looking at Ephesians chapters 5 and 6, anybody can see that the roles of fathers, mothers, and children are designed to be permanently fixed in place for as long as the children are in the home. The fact that marriage itself is a lifelong covenant strengthens this even more so. As we look at other interviews and lectures by Jordan Peterson, we see that he consistently makes the argument that selfishness is the primary cause of marital breakdown. He contends that many divorces stem from a focus on immediate gratification and personal fulfillment, rather than a dedication to the responsibilities and sacrifices inherent in marriage and in parenthood. In a culture that often prioritizes individual happiness above all else, Peterson's perspective is like a fish swimming upstream. And this is because he constantly urges parents and couples to consider the broader implications of their decisions. Now, the fact that children do better when their parents stay together is beyond dispute. Almost everyone agrees that children are better off when their parents continue to be married to one another. Where many get off and start arguing in favor of divorce is when they put a higher priority on the happiness of the parents rather than the well-being of the child. So many people are saying, my happiness, my peace of mind, my fulfillment, my dreams are what matters. We live in the me generation. It's all about me, me, me. And divorce is so prevalent for one reason, because parents are so flippant. If you get married in the first place, it's because you decided to get married. Nobody decided for you. We don't live in a country that has arranged marriages. You decided to vow that you would spend the rest of your life with this person. You decided to say that you would be obedient to that covenant and keep it and not break it. Sometimes the breakup of this sacred union is completely outside of our control Of course, we live in a country that has no-fault divorce. You can legally get a divorce for any reason whatsoever. And if your partner decides to leave you all of a sudden, what can you do about it? Nothing. But if you have any power whatsoever to make it work, why wouldn't you preserve your family? Why would you say something like, I just don't love your mom anymore. I just don't love your dad anymore. I shouldn't have to do something that I don't feel like doing. I'm not happy anymore, and God wants me to be happy. That's the worst of them all, actually. And I say it's the worst of them all because it's predicated upon a lie. God only wants you to be happy doing His will, not by disobeying His will. People use this excuse all the time, but at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's an excuse, and it uses God's name in vain. In my opinion, if you're going to be a covenant breaker, something that Jesus condemned in Matthew chapters 5 and 19, in Mark chapter 10, in Luke chapter 16, and in many other verses, if you're going to do this thing, you better have a very compelling reason. It better be because of abandonment or abuse or cheating or something that definitely cannot be fixed by you. You better be at the end of your rope if you're going to decide to put asunder what God has joined together. Not only is it a great sin against your spouse to do this, but it's also a great sin against your children, your legacy. Don't they matter to you? Don't the precious arrows that He put in your quiver supersede everything else? If they don't, it's time to look in the mirror and see yourself for who you are. In contemplating the significance of legacy, Peterson challenges the idea that personal happiness should always take precedence. He prompts individuals to reflect on the purpose and meaning which is inherent in building a lasting family legacy. He says that our fulfillment should be derived from contributing to something greater than yourself, not from the fleeting moments of supposed happiness. While modern society often glorifies immediate pleasure and self-gratification, Peterson advocates for a more nuanced approach, which considers the long-term consequences of our actions. He challenges individuals to resist the allure of instant gratification and instead embrace the discipline and commitment required to sustain meaningful relationships. Marriage is hard work, and that's why nearly half of all marriages end in divorce. Many people are simply unwilling to do the work to make it last. And so, in essence, Jordan Peterson's ethos emphasizes the importance of sacrifice, responsibility, and legacy. By encouraging couples to prioritize the well-being of their children and confront their selfishness, he offers a compelling alternative to the prevailing belief. And I think this is a message that needs to be heard nowadays. I think the world would be a lot better off listening to Jordan Peterson and those things that he says that are consistent with the Bible. I also want to invite you to do this. Think in your own heart about what really matters. What matters to you? What is the most important thing in your life? What is the most important thing to your spouse and to his or her life? And also, what's the most important thing to your children? Finally, think about this. What's important to God, your Creator, the one who created the institution of marriage, the one who formed the family back in the garden so long ago? We've got to think about this. We're each part of something far bigger than ourselves, and that should be a great honor for us to be part of a family, not something that's so easy to just throw away. I want to thank you so much for watching this video today, and if there's any way that I can help you, you can reach me on my website, marriageranger.com. Have a blessed day.